Men and women have noticed an awesome significance in the shimmering clarity of numbers ever since they'd learned to count. To those initiated in their mysterious workings, they were pure and abstract things, cleaner and more infinitely precise than the coarse, earthly quantities they were used to measure. Numbers could combine to form new numbers. The relationship between them could be expressed in yet more numbers. They could be manipulated with an exquisite intellectual grace. Numbers, in short, were the nearest that mortals could reach to the crystalline perfection of divinity. This fascination gripped thinkers in every civilization. None more thoroughly than the Greek mystic and mathematician Pythagoras. His enlightenment, it was said, was a result of his study of music. He discovered the arithmetical ratios that governed octaves, fourths, and fifths, 2-1, 3-2, and 4-3. But Pythagoras was not content to explain harmony by means of numbers. In a great conceptual leap, he understood that harmony was number, and number harmony. Pythagoras and his followers pushed the gleaming new idea further until they had proved to their satisfaction that all things are number. From the concept of odd and even, they deduced the idea of the limit and the unlimited. They went on to proclaim a whole series of oppositions that extended the magical power of their beloved number. Male and female, rest and motion, light and darkness, good and evil. These and other dichotomies were encompassed and, in sense, controlled by the art of these first numerologists. Pythagoras also devoted much time to the establishment of a mysterious religion based on the transmigration of souls. Within a few generations, the faith had vanished, leaving behind it only a few baffling commandments such as to abstain from beans, not to touch a white cockerel, nor to walk on highways. But his numerical insights were the foundation of a new occult science. After his death, generations of numerologists polished and refined it, incorporating ideas with origins far removed in space and time from ancient Greece. Yet it continued to sparkle with the same glorious simplicity that inspired Pythagoras. Every number had its meaning, said the adept. The number 1 was the pillar, stern and unique, upon which all other meanings rested. It represented divine principle, the good. It was sometimes regarded as masculine, the father of numbers, and it conveyed the qualities of daring and reliance, stubbornness and austerity. 2 was one's opposite, the mother of numbers, associated with boldness as well as strife. Christian numerologists assigned it to the devil. They also noted that in the Bible God saw that it was good after every day of creation except the second. But beneath Pythagoras' harmonic reasoning lay a dark magic that reached down to the taproot of humanity. Pairs were always uncanny. The birth of twins was a great jolt to the natural order of the universe. Usually, twins signaled danger, and often they had to be slaughtered at birth. Sometimes they brought good fortune. Rome was founded by twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. And sometimes they became gods. From India to Scandinavia, twin gods were part of a pantheon, sometimes incarnate as sun and moon. 2 also produced the fearful idea of the double, usually invisible duplicate of a person whose appearance was almost always a warning of imminent death. Less supernatural duplicates, such as the reflection in a mirror, a pool of water, or even shadows, also triggered a fear of pairing and led to endless battles of charm and counter-charm. 3 was called the perfect number, the sum of the masculine and the feminine, containing within itself the beginning, the middle, and the end. It marked the Christian Trinity, the past, present, and future of time, the 3 dimensions of space. It was the number of the spirit and of completion. 4, on the other hand, was a number of matter. 1 is a point, 2 yields a line, 3 a plane surface, but 4 grants solidity to the series. It was linked to earthly things, to toil, and often to ill luck. 5 is the sum of 2 and 3, of female and male. Thence, for a man, it was the number of marriage. Midway between 1 and 9, it was seen as ambivalent and lively, associated with the 5 senses. 6 is the product of 2 and 3, and therefore the marriage number of woman. It is mathematically perfect in a way that 3 is not. 1 plus 2 plus 3, and 1 times 2 times 3, both equal 6. Thence it is the number of love, balanced and harmonious. 7 was perhaps the most mystic of all numbers, a fusion of the spiritual 3 and the earthly 4. There were 7 planets, known to the ancient astrologers: the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The 7 days of the week, the 7 days of creation. Its sacred and ritual attributes were legion. To the Pythagoreans, 8 was the number of justice and fullness. Because it was twice 4, it was considered highly materialistic, though sometimes shouldering twice 4's burden of bad luck. Yet there are 8 notes in a full chord, the Pythagorean measure of a man. 9 stepped beyond 8 and man, and achieved a new perfection. As the square of 3 is the trinity of trinities, powerful and complete. It has a circular quality, in that multiplied by any other number, 9 will yield itself again. Thus, 5 times 9 is 45, which when added together equals 9. 9 was also the highest number of the basic series, since generally in numerology, 10, 11, 12, and all subsequent numbers are reduced to their simplest forms, 10 becoming 1 plus 0, and beginning the sequence anew. But some later numbers exercised power in their own right. 40, for example, for Pythagoreans, was a vital unit during pregnancy, which they believe required 7 times 40 days. In Babylon, it was esteemed as an excellent quality. The Bible, both Hebrew and Christian, is studded with references to spells of 40 days and 40 years. The number that cast the longest shadow was always 13. Pythagoras' system gave it no startling significance, but by Roman times it was already linked to misfortune. Quite independently, it was an ill-starred number in the Norse tradition too. Once, when 12 gods were feasting in Valhall, an evil spirit, Loki, joined them uninvited. By foul cunning, he caused the death of the beloved Balder, god of light. The final outcome was Ragnarok, the downfall of Valhall itself. Loki's 13 could hardly have been more catastrophic. In Christian numerology, 13 was the number present at the Last Supper. It was the quorum for a witch's coven. In the tarot, it was always the number of the grim card, death. Always, 13 was shrouded in evil omen, so enveloped in doom that its legend fed itself without need of further explanation. In any case, most explanations of the power of numbers turned circular. Did Loki make 13 unlucky? Or did he simply make use of the number's innate malevolence as an ally in his evil scheme? The elegant systems of the numerologist allowed them to access the power and granted them certain rights of manipulation, but the power's source remained deeply hidden. Like an unknown planet circling in the darkness, it could be measured only by its pull. Numerology's ambition and complexity reached its zenith with the work of the medieval Kabbalah, a marvelous system of metaphysical theology created originally by a fraternity of Jewish scholars. Sometimes working under threat of violent persecution and often the object of bewildering suspicion, they labored to interpret the Hebrew scriptures in the light of their vast knowledge of astrology and the occult. In ancient Hebrew, every letter had a numeric value as well as a literal one. The Kabbalists, in a system they called gematria, the Hebrew version of the word geometry, sought to assign the number value to many of the key words in the sacred Hebrew texts. By searching out other words of the same value, they discovered mystical correspondences that had hitherto escaped notice. The Kabbalist's careful reduction of words to numbers did not originate with them. Numerologists had always dabbled in the art, and since Greek alphabet used only letters as number signs, Pythagoras himself may well have experimented with it. But no one before the Kabbalists had pursued the task with such vigor, and their esoteric labors put prophetic analysis within the reach of anyone who could master a basic arithmetic. Wizards in the West adapted the code for their own languages and alphabets, assigning every letter a numerical equivalent. The so-called Chaldean alphabet gave every letter a value between 1 and 8. A, I, J, Q, and Y count as 1. B, K, R is 2. C, G, L, and S were worth 3. D, M, T, 4. E, H, N, and X, 5. U, V, and W, 6. O and Z, 7. F and P valued 8. And thus, by means of simple addition, any name could be reduced to one of the elementary numbers between 1 and 9. The arithmetical symbol of any name's components was itself a symbol, revealing certain truths about the person, the city, or even the nation that bore it. Scholars in many lands wrote texts to aid interpretation, but there were other adepts who preferred to keep their secret wisdom unwritten, locked behind their own sealed lips, and communicated when the time was ripe to a younger magician judged worthy of the inheritance. The most ambitious of numerologists were not satisfied with merely the number of the object of their inquiry. They preferred to match it with other numbers obtained from astrological calculations built around birth dates or zodiacal signs. But the name was at the heart of the study. Armed with it alone, a practitioner with a subtle knowledge of the shades of meaning could penetrate the secrets of the heart and map the unknown path of human destiny. For those scholars so gifted, the permutations were endless, the possibilities intoxicating. Obsessed, the students of such secrets burned their lamps while others slept, wandering the labyrinths of their own creation, in a place where mathematics and magic met.
Thank you.